effect of current. As per the 10th class, we know current produces magnetic field. In the very first chapter, charge at rest, we know it is producing the electrical field only, but it is moving. It is producing the electrical field as well as magnetic field. If it is accelerating, oscillating, vibrating, it is also producing, in addition to electrical and magnetic field, it is producing the electromagnetic waves. So moving charge means what? Current. As per the definition of current, rate of flow of charge. In other words, we can say now, although you know current produces the magnetic field, what is this? It is proved by the Oersted experiment. Oersted experiment, although it is not needed to explain, suppose here this is the wire AB, this is the wire AB, and suppose we connect a battery like this with key. You put it here, compass needle like this, North Pole, South Pole. Keep this compass needle in such a way so that it is aligned in the magnetic meridian, means that magnetic field. So it is aligned in this direction only. If there is no current flowing, it is kept like this. There is no rotation, there is no twisting, etc., nothing else. As soon as you close the key, what will happen? If the closed circuit is there, current is flowing here. Because of current flowing, a new field is developed. Because of current flowing, and now due to the interaction of Earth's magnetic field and the magnetic field produced by the current, there is a deflection in this compass needle, like this. If the direction of current is reverse, North Pole deflected towards east, this time west. So it is proved, and we can find out the direction by snow rule and swimming rule. This is very initial knowledge already given in 10th class. But now we can say current produces magnetic field. Current is nothing but moving charge. So moving charge is also producing the magnetic field. With this now, suppose a moving charge is there in external magnetic field. Here also there are two fields. One is external field already present. Another one is produced due to the current or moving charge. Definitely because of this interaction of two fields, there is a force developed here acting on the charge particle moving. Let us discuss here. Suppose external field is there B, and this is the charge particle Q moving with the speed V. Now there are two fields. One is already present. One is present by developed by the moving charge. So force is acting on it due to the interaction of two fields. Now your force is directly proportional to charge. If the charge is large one, force is more. If it is small, it depends on speed also. It depends on magnetic field B also. If magnetic field is strong, force is strong. One more thing here, it depends on the angle sine theta. Theta is the angle between the velocity vector and the magnetic field vector. Suppose if we are moving in the direction of magnetic field and charge particle is moving in the direction of magnetic field, then theta will be 0. In that case, sine 0 is 0. Even if in the opposite direction, theta is 180, sine 180 is also 0. So in these two cases, force is 0. There is no force acting. Even then, there are two fields. So the first case here, if theta is equal to 0 degree or 180 degree, in both the cases, force will be 0. Force will be 0. Now suppose second case, if theta 90 degree, other than this 0 or 180, we are taking the case of 90 degree. In that case, sin 90 is maximum 1. So force will be, in that case, force will be Q will be sin 90. That is 1. So force is here, Q will be. And there is a maximum force. This is a maximum force experienced by charged particle in the external magnetic field. Because we know there is the magnitude here of the force, and force is a vector quantity, so direction must be there. Here, if we are writing here force in the form of a vector, in that case, sin theta, because of sin theta here, it is a cross product like this. So this is the formula of force. Force Q will be sin theta, and here Q V cross B in vector form. We know the direction of cross product just by finding the right hand screw rule, or substitute here by Fleming's left hand rule. Either by right hand screw rule or alternative here is Fleming's left hand rule. What is Fleming's left hand rule? Here Fleming's left hand rule. See, suppose this is your left hand and thumb, this forefinger and the middle finger. If you do like this, all the three are in perpendicular, mutually perpendicular. This is the force. Thumb represents your force F. Here magnetic field B, and there is the current I. Just to cram it easily, father, mother, child. Force, father, mother, magnetic field, child means current. So father, mother and child. We can find easily either by using the right hand rule or by using the Fleming's left hand rule, the direction of force. Suppose in this case maximum force is there. And let us discuss, suppose this is the direction of magnetic field downward from roof to floor, and suppose I throw positive charge towards you, then as per this left hand rule, force will be acting towards this side. Easily you can apply. Suppose you apply like this, what will happen? Force is acting in this direction. Because of this force, this charge particle not coming towards you, but it deflected a little bit. Now force direction is again perpendicular, change. So again deflection, deflection, deflection. It means what? If things are like that, theta is 90 degree, force is maximum, it circulates. It follows the circular path. You got it? It follows this circular path in case of theta 90 degree. Is it clear? Or any doubt? If theta 0 or 180 degree, force is 0, so there is no question arises of direction. But here force is not 0, so you have to find out the direction. Direction can be found out by left hand, Fleming's left hand rule. In this case, we have seen like this, it is changing the direction, this force is also changing the direction, it follows the circular path. If it is circular path, centrifugal force is also acting. Suppose these two are equal and opposite, it follows the circular path. In that case, we can find out the radius of the circular path, we can find out the time period also, means time taken in completing one circle in circular path. We can find out the frequency, number of revolutions, circular motion in 1 second just by equating the two forces. One force is magnetic force and other one is the centrifugal force. So here we are equating the magnetic force with centrifugal force. Here Q will be is the force maximum in case of theta 90 and centrifugal force is mv square upon r. This way you can find out the radius r. V is 1, V cancel out mv upon ub. So this is the equation finally of radius. This is the radius formula here in case of particularly when the angle is 90 degree, not in all cases. This is a particular case where theta 90 degree is following the circular path and this is the radius of the circular path. Suppose we are interested to find out the time period. What is time period here? Time period here is the time taken in one complete cycle or circular motion. So here distance, time is distance upon speed. Distance means perimeter or periphery. Circumference 2 pi r divided by speed v. If we are putting the value of r here, we are getting 2 pi r. R means here mv upon qb. We also cancel out, so we are getting the time period formula 2 pi m upon qb. And frequency is just reciprocal of it. So simply qb upon 2 pi m. You just note down this. I think it is very simple, but anyway, if any doubt is there, please ask. In case of theta 90 degree, this is experiencing the charged particle maximum force. A maximum force is there given by this formula QVB sin 90, QVB, its circular path is there. We have seen by using the left and right, left hand rule. So this force magnetic and force centrifugal, equating these two, we are getting simply radius and the time period and the frequency. Any doubt, please? Any doubt up to this? Okay, good. No doubt? Anybody? Okay. Then we are taking the case when theta is neither this 0 degree 180 degree or not 90 degree. Neither 0 180 nor 90, but some other angle. Any other angle, maybe 30, 40, 50, 20, whatever it is. But it's not 0, 180. In that case, force is 0. In case of theta 90, force is maximum. Now in between any angle, say theta, suppose 30 degree. In that case, what will happen? What is theta? We know this is the angle between velocity vector of the charged particle and magnetic field vector. In that case, I am rubbing this. You have not noted down? Okay. Then I am taking this case when theta is not 0, 180 and 90, but other angle other than these three. In that case, what will happen? Let us discuss this. These are charged particle here, Q, moving with velocity V, velocity vector, and this is the magnetic field vector, and this is the angle theta. It is say 30, 40, 50, whatever it is. Maybe 1 also, maybe 89 also, no problem. Then what will happen? actually we do not know what will happen. So what will happen? And there is a confusion here. It is better, it is advisable here to break this in rectangular forms. Like parallel component, V velocity will resolve here in this direction. It is the parallel component, parallel nothing but say in the direction of magnetic field and perpendicular to magnetic field. So we are writing here simply V parallel and V perpendicular. Now we know resolution. We can easily resolve this. Here V parallel, angle attaching. So this will be V cos theta. It is simply V cos theta. And here V perpendicular means here V sin theta. After resolution, there is no problem. Problem is solved. For this parallel component, this is resembling with the theta 0 degree. So force is 0. It means in this direction of magnetic field, there is no force acting on the charged particle. There is no force acting means what? Acceleration 0 and velocity vector here we call theta is constant because there is no acceleration, there is no force. So this is moving in this direction, say suppose horizontal or in the direction of magnetic field. This is constant. So in this direction, this charged particle moving with constant velocity. Now think about perpendicular component theta 90 degree. There is a circular path. Now you combine these two, what will happen? It is moving in circular path also. It is moving in the forward direction also. Like ice spring. This. It is moving in the forward direction also. It is in circular motion as well as in forward direction also. So situation will be like this. Like ice spring. It is moving in the forward direction also and in circular motion also. Got it? This is the combined effect. This is the combined effect. Now still you can find out. This is the radius and this is the distance here which is called the pitch. Which means this is the linear distance covered in the direction of magnetic field by the charged particle in one circular motion, that is called pitch. So here for this particular case theta 90 degree, we can easily find out the radius simply by equating the magnetic force and the centrifugal force as we have seen in this case. But here say QVB sin 90 and this is the perpendicular component. This not V is this. We are taking V perpendicular. Then mv square upon r is cancel out. Sin 90 is 1. So here also we are getting the same formula of this radius. But mind it, V perpendicular is here, not V. V and V perpendicular are different. Suppose theta is 30 degree, then sin 30. Suppose it is 40 degree, sin 40. Like it is not V, it is V perpendicular. Now we can find out the time period, and time period formula was 2 pi m upon 2b. See, this one is independent of velocity vector. It means whatever velocity is there, time is constant. Time period and frequency are independent of velocity. Independent of velocity. So now we can find out that pitch. Easily we can find out the pitch. Easily. This is the pitch here. It is the distance covered in one side. What is the pitch here? This is the distance covered in one cycle. This is the velocity. Velocity means Parallel component v cos theta in this direction. It is the v cos theta multiplied by the time this 2 pi m upon qb. So this is the pitch. Formula of pitch and formula of this radius and time period, you can see we are getting. In this particular case, the two effects are combined. Two effects are combined. Just note down this. We have to solve some numerical problems. One by one we'll solve some problems which are normally comes in the board and competitive examination also. How things change. Just note down this. Note it down. Yes. Suppose first case, it is the theta 0 or 180. In that case, what is the trajectory here? Means there's no force, there's no acceleration. It is moving with constant velocity. So like this, in case of theta, this is the path followed by the charged particle either in the direction of magnetic field or in the opposite direction of magnetic field. Suppose theta 90 degree, 0 or 180, suppose theta 90 degree, we are getting say circular path and we can find out the radius, time period, frequency, etc. etc. Angular momentum also. What is angular momentum? MPR. We know B, we know R, everything. We know and also mass of the charged particle. And suppose theta is neither 0, 180 or 90. In that case, this spring type motion, it is called say helix. This is the shape of path is called helix or helical motion or say helical motion. Helical motion will be there if theta is other than this angle 0, 180, 90. Any other angle, we are getting this shape and you can find out the radius also, time period also and pitch also. What is pitch here? This is the linear distance. Linear means in the direction of magnetic field. This is the linear distance covered by the charged particle in one circular motion or one cycle. Difference between this all the three should be clear before solving any conceptual or any numerical problems. Any doubt is there? Any doubt? One more thing that is very common, that is very, very important here.
Sir?
Say, yes, please.
So, sir, these are the formulas from which we can derive theta.
No. Theta is given in the question. Theta is given in the question. If theta is 0 degree, 180 degree, it is straight line. It is moving in the direction of magnetic field or in the opposite. If theta 90 circular motion is there. If theta is other than these three, we are getting this helical motion. So theta must be given to you. Why you are deriving this theta? Got it? In the reverse case here, theta must be given, then only then you can select the path. Okay. Or you can say suppose it is circular motion. What is theta? You know theta. Theta is 90 degree. Why to derive this? Anyway, very important part here is C. Electrical field can accelerate the charged particle. Positive charge will accelerate, feeling of force in the direction of electrical field, and negative in the opposite direction. So you can say if speed is increasing, changing, kinetic energy also changing, momentum also changing. But here, if theta in magnetic field theta 0 180 degree, in that case there is no force acting, there is no acceleration, there is no change in the kinetic energy. There is no change in the kinetic energy. There is no change in the speed also. But suppose theta other than this, even 90 degree, even theta 30, 40, 50, whatever it is a change in velocity, change in velocity, change in momentum. Because momentum is also a vector quantity, velocity is also a vector quantity, there is direction change, so velocity changes, momentum changes. Now question here is, this is very important, I am again repeating, this is very important concept, although very small. What is the change in the kinetic energy? If there is change in the velocity, there is a force acting on it, there is acceleration also, that is centripetal or centrifugal acceleration. Even then, there is no change in the speed and there is no change in the kinetic energy. These are the scalar quantities. In scalar quantities, we are not talking about the direction. Even if direction is changing, there is no change in the speed and there is no change in the kinetic energy. It is very important part. Even if, see the maximum force in circular motion, the magnetic force acting the maximum, it is balanced by the centrifugal force. So net force is 0. If net force is 0, there is no change, no increment in the kinetic energy. It is very important part. So no magnetic field can change the kinetic energy. No magnetic, just note down this and underline it.
Excuse me, sir.
Yes, please.
Sorry to interrupt, sir. Please, can you
No,
dictate the? Please, can you dictate the question so that we can write it?
Okay, okay. Write down, no magnetic field can change the speed and kinetic energy. No means never. Magnetic field can change the direction only. It cannot change the speed as well as kinetic energy. It can change the direction. Yes, no doubt about it. So there is change in the velocity vector and momentum because these two are vector quantities. But speed and kinetic energy, it is not changing. It is constant in magnetic field. Now let us discuss some numerical problems. Suppose there are different particles. Suppose there are different particles like say proton, neutron, and alpha particle. There are three. Suppose you are talking about say electron and proton, then only first case say electron and proton, then what will happen? Suppose the same magnetic field is there and both the particles are moving towards you. Suppose there is a directional magnetic field downward from roof to this floor and positive and negative charge particles are coming towards you. As per the Fleming left-hand rule, positive charge particle feel a force in this direction. If I see here from my side, it is left, so it is moving in the anti-clockwise direction. Proton or positive charge particle move in the anti-clockwise direction. You are looking from the top. Suppose this is electron, then what will happen? There is a velocity vector, but mind it, this is the current. This middle finger is what representing the current. It means here the current is like this in the opposite direction. If the charge particle moving towards you, current in the away from you. In that case, force is feeling towards right, this direction, just opposite. So you can say if we throw positive, negative charge, proton and electron towards you, both are following circular path because of circular motion, theta 90 degree, maximum force is acting, but different orientation. Say proton is moving like this, electron is moving opposite signs because of this Fleming's left-hand rule. At the same time, here M, velocity same, charge same, magnetic field same, but mass is different. So here radius is directly proportional to mass also, and mass of proton is 1836 times more than mass of electron. It means radius of this proton is more than radius of electron. Mass of electron is very less in comparison to mass of proton. So radius is also smaller of electron than the proton. At the same time, orientation, sense of rotations are different also for proton in anti-clockwise direction, for electron in clockwise direction. If you are looking from the top, got this point or not? Yes, please. If you are listening this sincerely, then and only then you can grasp it. Because we are not talking face to face. This is not the class. From here also you can understand. But you have to listen it carefully. I am again repeating. Suppose, think about in your room where you are sitting, the direction of magnetic field is downward. All of you use your left hand. Please don't listen me now. You apply. Please you apply the Fleming's left hand rule. This finger, mother means magnetic field downward. Please all of you do it. Without any hesitation, you please do it. This is the direction of magnetic field downward, and this is say away from you. I am talking about you, not me. Apply Fleming left hand rule. Find out this direction of force in case of positive charge and in case of negative charge. Because positive charge moving, this is the direction, same direction of current. If it is negative charge, just opposite of current, so force is just opposite. In that case, just find out the force in case of positive, it is anti-clockwise direction. In case of negative charge, it is clockwise direction. Is it? You just apply and tell me. If it is correct, then okay, let me proceed. If there is any doubt, please ask again. Now waiting for your response. Just few seconds, I am waiting. If any doubt.
सर ऊपर होगा ना सर, डाउनवर्ड अगर मैग्नेटिक फील्ड ऊपर से अपवर्ड डायरेक्शन, फोर्स अपवर्ड होगा ना.
फर्स्ट अप्लाई, ऊपर कैसे हो गए? जस्ट सपोज दिस द मैग्नेटिक फील्ड डाउनवर्ड, ये परपेंडिकुलर अपोजिट थोड़ी ना, ऐसे थोड़ी ना, ये मैग्नेटिक फील्ड डाउनवर्ड, दिस इज अपवर्ड. ऊपर कैसे हो गया? परपेंडिकुलर है. आप ऊपर कैसे दिखाइए
सर? राइट.
राइट बोलो, ऊपर राइट अलग होता है, राइट और ऊपर अलग होता है.
हाँ सर, राइट.
इसीलिए मैं बोल रहा हूँ बेटा आपको कि आप अप्लाई करें. जो मेरे हाथ में तो मेरे को तो याद है ना, तो सोते बता दूंगा आपको, लेकिन आप अप्लाई करिए क्योंकि आपको सीखना है. इसीलिए मैंने आपसे बोला, आपसे रिक्वेस्ट किया कि आप अप्लाई करिए, तभी आएगा. जब मैं बोल दूंगा ऊपर है तो आप ऊपर कह दोगे, मैं बोला सीधा है तो टेढ़ा है तो नहीं. आप अप्लाई करिए. Unless until you apply and find out the direction correct, then and only then you can understand. This simple case. Other difficult cases will come definitely, then there will be a lot of confusion. Now I'm again repeating. If the imagine only the direction of magnetic field downward. If suppose this positive charge coming towards you or away from you, apply this Fleming left hand rule, find out the direction of force. In case of negative charge, direction of current is just reverse. In that case, force is also reverse. So sense of rotation you can easily find out. Got it? Still any doubt to anybody? Okay or not? You can apply here. You have gone through this Fleming rule, left hand rule, right hand rule in 10th class. Okay or not? Should I repeat this? Then find out now. Now question here is, we are taking proton, neutron and alpha particle. First of all, one must know. Proton means here like this. This is the representation of proton. This is the neutron here sometimes like this, or we can say D also. D also, this neutron. So although 1 and 2 is correct, but just to distinguish here, this is neutron, but is alpha particle is the helium nucleus. So the find out the ratio of charge in proton, neutron, and alpha particle. 1, 1, 2. This is the ratio of charge particle. Charge proton 1, neutron also 1, and alpha particle 2. What about the mass ratio? 1 to 4. With this, suppose there are 3 particles entering the magnetic field external uniform with the same speed. With the same speed. First, very easy thing, with the same momentum. Mass into velocity is the momentum. So, first question, find out the ratio of this proton, neutron, capital D or small d, no problem, and this is the alpha particle. Find out the ratio. In that case, if momentum is same. If momentum is same, radius formula here is mv upon qb. This is the formula here, mv upon qb. In that case, only mv constant, b constant. So R is inversely proportional to charge. Inversely proportional to charge. In that case, first question, if they all enter in the magnetic field perpendicularly, then finding the radius of the ratio of the radius of proton, neutron, and alpha particle. If momentum is same, if momentum p is same, means mv. So in that case, R is inversely proportional to charge particle. And here it is 1 by 1, charge particle 1, 1 by 1 also, and here 1 by 2 also. So it is 2 is to 2 is to 1. If suppose they are moving with constant velocity, not constant momentum, in that case what will happen? They all enter, second question, they all enter with the same velocity. Now m is also coming to check. V constant, velocity, magnetic field external is constant. Now m and q both are there. In that case, here R is directly proportional to m upon q. So here, if we are putting this, the ratio 1 m 1 by charge particle also 1, and here this mass is 2, charge particle. Mass is here 4 upon 2. So what is the ratio here? 1 to 2. Ratio is 1 to 2. This way we can find out. This is very easy. But they are normally coming, normally repeating question. This is the board question, repeating also, and competitive examination also repeating. So 1 to 2. Now some difficult questions. Say suppose they are moving with constant energy, or they are excited with the same potential, voltage, not velocity. Noted down this now. Should I rub this? It is very simple, these two things. Now again, they enter the magnetic field with same kinetic energy, entering the perpendicularly in magnetic field with same kinetic energy. Kinetic energy is constant. Kinetic energy is constant. Now we must know the relation between kinetic energy and the momentum p. Kinetic energy is given by half mv square. There is the kinetic energy. And say suppose if we multiply kinetic energy, I am taking say E only. E is not the electrical field, E is the kinetic energy. Half mv square. If we multiply and divide with m, we are getting this. In other words, it is what? P square. So the relation between kinetic energy and P is what? E is equal to m is constant, then directly proportional to this. What is P here? In the question of radius. Radius here mv upon qb. So mv means simply p. Or you can say, if you replace this like E is the kinetic energy upon QB. So now B's content is also content inversely proportional to Q, you can say. Or if M is not content, then if M is not content, then. So you can apply this relation. P is in replace with the root E is what? Kinetic energy. This way you can find out the ratio. Suppose this capital V and small v are different. Capital V is the potential and small v is the velocity or speed. In that case, work done or kinetic energy. Here, work done or kinetic energy can be written as QV. So now Q also comes because now QV is not constant, kinetic energy is not constant, only V is constant. So Q comes into picture again. Got it? This way you can solve. So you please solve these questions, especially because time is less.